25th James Bond and the last James Bond of Daniel Craig. It was a great James Bond, but so sadness. Why great? Well, music on Seaman Billie Eilish and the movie had a lot of stars. And why sadness? Well, it was the last movie we saw Daniel Craig as 007. It's so sadness, isn't it? So the last James Bond movie, casted by Daniel Craig, Lars Sado, Rami Malek and Anna de Armas, and directed by writer of E2070, Cary Joji Fukunaga. Cary will who changed the traditional of 007 series. In all James Bond movies, we could guess what will be happening, but what Joji Fukunaga did was broken this tradition and removed all the spoilers and changed the franchise. But No Time to Die it still had those classical elements, car chases, helicopter shots, explosions and blah blah blah. Well, all of these stops had been made for 24 times and we saw them in 24 movies and it was a sort of repetitive. It's right that those traditional things at No Time to Die were repetitive, but they are still exciting. Exotic location, epic action, the pre-title in Italy, a party in Cuba, and chase through Norwegian woods, and the villain had his own Iceland. I said that they were repetitive and it did not have any new elements to learn. But yes, they're still exciting, but these repetitive scenes they pictured more beautiful, and when I say more beautiful, I mean it can be the main rival of a Skyfall and have a chance to be the best James Bond in history. But the problem it has is still it doesn't quite hit the Disney highs of Casino Royale or Skyfall. Also, Cary put 25 James Bond's character on a narrative maze that he never had experienced, and he again put old friends and old enemies and old characters in the movie. Madeline, Lucifer, Buffalo, Q, Moneypenny, Flex and M. What about the Bond in No Time to Die? Well, he's older, wiser, more reflective, and having a lot of regrets. And Craig, well, he was 51 years old. You may think it's too much. Yeah, me too. But he's not the oldest James Bond in history. Roger Moore finished 51 when he played in 4 James Bond movies. And not finished yet. Sean Connery, 57, when he was James Bond. Well, this proves that how James Bond's actors must have a lot of experience and already a strong body, so acting as James Bond is not easy and not everyone can do it. It's right that Cary made the longest James Bond in history, 163 minutes, but when you watch it, you can see the formula of 007 movies. The world is in danger and James Bond must save it. One of the reasons for this that Cary pitched a tribute to 007 present and past, and it was just not for character of James Bond. Madeline Swan, we had some feedbacks about the past too, and the past had big effects on the storyline. Another reason was about the Spectre 2050. In fact, No Time to Die completed small points of a Spectre 2050 and it answers the questions those Spectre made in our mind. When Spectre 2050 finished, we thought that James Bond retired himself forever, but No Time to Die, yes it did. At the beginning of the movie, we saw that James Bond retired himself, but MI6 thought that he's dead, so they chose a new 007, a woman. Well, as Daniel Craig left James Bond forever, yeah, we need a new actor or actress for the next James Bond. Choosing a woman as the next James Bond will make no difference in the storyline. Reverse, Madeline Swan. Well, Lars Sado was a sort of like Bond's daughter, but with having a dangerous past and emotional effects on James Bond, it's removed that daughter effect and it makes wife effect. Well, yeah, James Bond retired himself, but now he's coming back for a better end and against him in the world. Paloma, played by Anna de Armas, well, her movements didn't show that she's a rookie agent. She was a rookie agent. It turns out it has a skill and she's a gorgeous because it was really hard to have tough fight action with this night dress. But who is she? Bond's colleague in CIA. She can win some villain with a night party dress which can be dressed very hard. Paloma was the third woman in No Time to Die, which was one part of Bond's adventure. Craig's fifth and final outing had 3 women who shared his adventure: Paloma, Swan, and Naomi. Action said, well, it was an action movie, but it did not have physical fights too much. Instead of physically action scenes, they challenged physics rules, but not broken them like Fast and Furious 9. Did you see that? It was no physics rules on that movie. But the challenges were not just for action scenes. To be an epic movie, it had some challenges too. unbinding narrative, having some uninteresting side of the series, and the main villain is the weakest villain in 25 movies and being in shadow for too much time. In Craig's James Bond time, it happened a lot that the main villain challenged Bond himself. Rami Malek as Safin was the main villain, and yeah, he challenged Bond too. Safin, well, he may not hit the highs of Mads Mikkelsen, Lucifer, or the bottom Silva, and slightly less villain than Christopher Waltz as Blofeld, and more memorable than Dominic Green. The next James Bond, which is going to make very soon, but someone else will play it, and it's very clear that no one can do it great as Craig. Craig, by making his own mini-saga with Casino Royale 2006, continuing by Spectre 2050, and finish it with No Time to Die. No Time to Die featured the hero, James Bond, emotional, since Daniel Craig played as James Bond in Casino Royale in 2006, featured a premiable and sensitive and of course emotional James Bond, but at the same time strong. 25th James Bond, well, when Spencer's story finished, James Bond retired himself and with Madeleine Swan went on holidays. But James Bond, which is not 007 anymore, figured out something about Madeleine Swan's past. At the earlier movie, we had some feedbacks about Madeleine Swan's past and we saw that she experienced a bad tragedy. MI6, as I said previously, thought that James Bond he died, so they chose the woman as new 007. When MI6 noticed that James Bond is alive, they asked him to join them, while CIA, by one of James Bond's friends, asked him to join them too, and both of them, they wanted James Bond to stop a business which can kill people by their DNA. The negative point, it had a lot of tertiary characters which showed up just few times. I told James Bond's story in the 1950s and 60s, Ian Fleming and John le Carre. Well, when they were writing the books, they did not have the same idea always. For example, those classical elements, car chases, helicopter shots, explosions, and glamour and gadgetry, and the godlike qualities of a certain breed of a debonair Englishman, well, they were Ian Fleming's idea. What about moral ambiguities, emotions, and mistrust of James Bond? They were le Carre's idea. So yeah, maybe le Carre was emotional. From 1962, everything had been changed. 51 years? Well, yes, very much. And of course, Bond's attitude, yes, they changed too. From that to know, the first James Bond, the character and the actor Sean Connery, they had different attitude to women. And the last James Bond, No Time to Die, Craig's Bond was adjusted his attitude to women, so they nowadays mute. Well, I told James Bond No Time to Die was worth to wait 18 months for it, and it was one of the best James Bond movies in the franchise. Alright guys, it was the first review of today. Don't lose the second review. You can see it from this link. Come on, click on it. This. Some more talented, some more reviews. Don't forget to comment which movie you'd like me to have a review for you. And if you didn't like this video till now, hit custom second energy booster and put your masks on to the next clip.